social media can be overwhelming, as most of you probably know. There are lots of channels, lots of fans, lots of conversations, lots of complaints.
I hear it.
Lots of team members that you have to work with. So there's a lot of coordination going on in terms of managing your social media.
Like this one?
No, it's fine. Managing all of your social media channels. So how do you take care of it? How do you manage all of that stuff? Fortunately, there are apps and tools that are available to you to help you out. These are the absolutely essential social media tools. As you heard, my name is Kwon. I'm a consultant from Birmingham. It's my pleasure to be back at the Pram State Conference. Thank you for having me. I was just in Jackson a few weeks ago to speak to the AdFed group, so it's always a pleasure to come back to Mississippi and especially to Jackson. So I'm going to take you through some apps, some websites, some software packages that can help you manage all of the social media that you might have to deal with as a PR professional, as a social media manager, as a communications outreach coordinator. There are lots of ways to handle all of this, and you're not alone in the struggle to monitor and to react and to schedule and to take care of your different audiences out there. So we're going to look at different categories of apps. You're welcome to ask questions at any point. Just raise your hand. Don't save them for the end. In the stampede to get to lunch. My Twitter name's @WadeOnTweets. You're welcome to tweet out any and all this presentation. Be sure to hashtag it Pram2016. You can share it on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever social media network you prefer. All of these slides, the video, the outline, additional resources, additional apps, I'll make that available to you. Just stick around to the end. I'll tell you how to get it. And if you have the postcards, I've got a door prize to give away, and we've got a couple additional door prizes from Pram to give out, so stick around. 4 different categories of apps that we're going to go over today. So, as I pointed out, there's a lot of social media channels. I mean, there are hundreds of them. And there are thousands upon thousands of apps. I have not personally tried all the apps that are out there, but I've tried a handful. The ones that we're going to go over today are the ones that I use. I use them every day. Some have free levels, some have paid levels. But this will help you manage the different channels that you use. But I stand by the apps that I recommend. But the most important thing I can tell you from the very beginning is to try out each of the apps on your own. If it's free, then there's no harm, no foul. If you try it and you don't like it, you can just drop it. If it's paid, you can probably sign up for just a month and see if it's a good fit with your workflow, with your team, with your channels, and with your audience. But whatever I tell you about these apps today, really your hands-on experience is going to be your best guide. I just want to get you pointed in the right direction. The other thing is, if we don't cover the social network that you work on, ask me about it, either during the presentation or afterwards or by email. I might be able to recommend an app for you. But the handful of apps we're going to cover today, it's going to hit scheduling apps. So if you've got a lot of content to share with your audiences, this is a time saver. It's a great time management tool because you are going to schedule in advance and it's going to go out on the times and the channels that you choose. I use these every day and it helps a lot. We're also going to look at link shortening apps. Short links are the currency of social media. They're very handy and there are different uses beyond just taking a long URL and shrinking it down. So we're going to go into some of the uses for them as well. We're going to look at apps that measure metrics. Numbers are really important in social media. I love working with numbers, so this is a sweet spot for me. But you need to be able to see and dissect the numbers behind your social media campaigns and outreach. So I'll show you a few ways to get at those numbers. And the last thing is mobile apps. All of you have phones or tablets. We have our devices with us at all times. And more people are using their social media strictly through their phones. They're not using computers. They're not using laptops. They're not using desktop models. And so if they're using them on the go, we as PR professionals, we have to keep up with them. We have to be able to react in the field, on the go, whenever something happens. So we'll look at a few mobile apps that can help you with that as well. We're going to start out with scheduling apps. And, you know, for some people, scheduling is, it's a little controversial, and it's only because there's a belief that maybe when you do your social media, it should be live. You should be in front of your computer, in front of your phone, you know, putting it in at the moment. I disagree, and let me give you the perspective of a small business owner. In managing my consulting and managing the conference, I can't be on social media all the time. I've got many other hats to wear. I've got bills to pay and speakers to recruit and talks to give and posts to research and bills to pay and so on. So it is a huge benefit to be able to take all the content that I have to share and schedule it in advance. Now I can react if there's a problem. I can react if there's a question. But I don't need to be on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or any of those channels every waking hour. Scheduling apps can help you out because there may be other things that you need to get to as well. So let's look at some of those tools. Our first one's Buffer. You go to buffer.com and you can try it out. It's a web-based app, but you can also download an app for your iOS or Android device. It has a free and a paid level. And very basically, Buffer takes whatever social media channels you have and lets you schedule content on those channels. On Buffer, I have my LinkedIn and my Twitter accounts hooked up. So when I schedule something, I can schedule something for one network or both networks, and I can pick the time and the day. I tend to reserve, you know, communications and business topics for LinkedIn, and then just about everything else for Twitter. But as I surf the web, or I schedule blog posts, or I have newsletter subscription offers, or calls to action, or events to promote, I can use Buffer to do so. Basically, all I do is click a button and it goes into my Buffer queue. And through some predetermined schedule, it sends out those updates. So it doesn't just blast them out 10 updates in a row. For example, if you schedule updates for 9 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m. on weekdays, and then Friday afternoon you schedule a bunch of updates for next week, well, the first one will go out at 9 a.m. Monday, then noon Monday, then 3 p.m. Monday, then 9 a.m. Tuesday, and so on. So it's very simple to use. Once you have everything queued up, you don't have to think about it anymore. But if you need to, you can adjust the schedule, you can pause updates, you can switch the order, you can switch what channel they're going out to, you can measure statistics behind them. I encourage you to try it. I've used Buffer for many years. It's very reliable. It's at the paid level, you get more updates that you can schedule and, you know, more features, more bells and whistles. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with HootSuite. You go to HootSuite.com, you can try it out. There's also a HootSuite app for your mobile devices. It has a free level, has a paid level, so it's similar to Buffer. And similar to Buffer, you can schedule updates on one or more social media networks. You pick the day, you pick the time. It can be in an hour, it can be tomorrow, it can be next week, it can be next year. I've got HootSuite connected to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn. I send out birthday greetings on Twitter. I send out promotional updates on LinkedIn. I send out links to evergreen content on LinkedIn. So there are different ways I'm using it to schedule social media in advance. It's fairly easy to use. It's got a lot more features than Buffer. Buffer is strictly a scheduling tool. You connect your social media and you schedule updates on it. HootSuite does those same things, but it has some other features that you should know about. For starters, it's a monitoring and a listening tool. You see columns in the screen they provide, and so one column can be my scheduled Twitter updates, and the next column can be my scheduled LinkedIn updates, and then scheduled Facebook page updates, and so on. But I can add additional columns. So for Twitter, I can monitor my timeline. I can have a column devoted to mentions of my Twitter name or my company Twitter name. I can use a column for direct messages, private messages between Twitter users. I can use another column to do searches. So if I did a column with the hashtag Pram 2016, I could monitor the chatter going on during the conference. So that makes it a very easy way to engage with other Twitter users. You can use columns for Twitter lists, you can use them for your LinkedIn stream, you can use it for your Facebook page. And so every time your Facebook page updates and someone comments or likes it, you can respond to them through HootSuite. You don't have to necessarily log into your Facebook page to do so. So you can create as many columns as you need based on the social media channels you have connected, so you can monitor and listen to your audience. And you don't have to hop from channel to channel, or tab to tab, or website to website. So there's a lot of power built into being able to listen carefully to your audience and to respond in real time. The other thing is, you can have team members as part of your HootSuite package. I think that's only at the paid level. But if you are part of a department or a group that monitors your social media channels and responds, then each team member can have their own HootSuite account. And as they take different shifts or handle different departments or different questions or different channels, you can coordinate through HootSuite. So even if your team member is in the same office, or they're in another city or another time zone, you can coordinate your social media with other colleagues. So Buffer lets you schedule social media updates. HootSuite does that, but it also lets you monitor your social media, it lets you respond to it, and it lets you share that control with other users. And we'll talk a little bit more about it. But again, if you sign up for it, it's free. I've used it at the free level for years. I found it to be very useful. I'm a one-person operation, so I don't need other team members to help me manage it. But you may find that you need other users on board to help you manage your social media. I'm willing to bet that you haven't heard of this one. Social Oomph is a site that I've used for, again, many years. You go to socialoomph.com and you can try it out. There is no app associated with it. You can access it from your browser, whether you're on your computer or on your phone. But it's a scheduling app. And at the free level, you can connect a Twitter account to it and you can schedule multiple updates. So I have hundreds of Twitter updates scheduled through Social Oomph. Daily blog tips, calls to action, offers, links to evergreen content, and so on. So if I fall off the face of the earth tomorrow, you will still get tweets from me for many months to come. It's very reliable. At the paid level, you can connect in other social media accounts. So what makes this one different from the other two I mentioned? If you use Twitter a lot and you do searches, you might do searches on keywords, on things your audiences are interested in and things your customers are interested in. You might do searches on your company's name or your company's Twitter account or the name of your CEO. You might even monitor your competition. You might have searches based on competitors' names, names of products, names of services, and so on. And when you search in Twitter, you're searching all of Twitter for all the tweets that are out there, and you're getting it live and in real time, just like if you search the Pram 2016 hashtag. The beauty of Social Oomph is you can take those searches and save them, and it will create a digest for you. And once a day, it will email you a digest of those Twitter searches, which means if you go in there right now and set up a Pram 2016 search, it'll email you a digest of all the tweets that come out today, or the ones that mention your company, or the ones that mention your CEO, or the ones that mention your name, or the ones that mention your competitor's name. So, once a day or a couple of times a week, I'll go and look through those digests, and I'll look for tweets that I missed so I can respond to them. Because I can pull up those tweets, I can respond to people, I can thank them, I can point them to more information, I can prospect them for potential leads. There's a ton of research that goes into it, and all you have to do is spend 2 minutes setting up the searches, and it just emails it to you. And of course, you can forward that email to whoever you like if they need to see it as well. But that is some deep market research for the cost of $0 a year, because the email digests are at the free level. So Social Oomph, HootSuite, Buffer, all scheduling apps. all vary in their features, but different opportunities, different options to reach your publics, to interact with them, and to manage your social media. Yes?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know of any website that allows you to schedule posts for Instagram?
Instagram. So the question is, is there an app that lets you schedule Instagram? The only one that I know of, and it's cobbled together, is, I believe it's HootSuite. And the way it works, I think, because I haven't tried it out because I was so frustrated just reading the instructions, is you connect your Instagram account to HootSuite, you schedule your photos for a certain day and time, and then it beeps your phone, and then I think it'll take you automatically to Instagram, and then you still have to push the button on the final publishing. Has anyone used, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, it sends you a message and says your scheduled post is about to go, and then so it sends you to Instagram, and then you still have to post it. And it depends on who the user is. All of our team have access to Instagram and use HootSuite on their phones, but I think there's only one staff member who gets that text or that message to say your scheduled post is about to go.
I would rig it so that HootSuite sends that message to someone else's phone every day.
A little tedious.
Does anyone else know of any apps that let you schedule Instagram? Because that's the only workaround solution. I see a hand in the back. Latergram? Is that an app or is that a website?
It's an app.
Okay, so Latergram, did you have one?
It's the same thing.
Same one,
I use
okay.
that.
Thank you. And is it easy to use? I mean, do you have to jump through hoops?
Yeah, I know other people do.
Okay,
It's kind of the same as HootSuite. It sends you a notification, and then you have to go and then post it. But it's pretty much the same.
okay. So there's another app that will help you but won't do all of it for you. And that's a limitation of Instagram. They haven't opened that up yet. I don't know if they ever will. Yeah, I said earlier that short links are the currency of social media. You have lots of links that you may want to share. They might be to news articles, they may be to YouTube videos, they may be to blog posts, they may be offers to subscribe to your newsletter, or any other destinations. No one wants to deal with a 200-character URL, especially on a mobile device where your screen is, only a few inches wide, and it's just impossible to copy and highlight and paste and click on. So besides taking long URLs down to 15 or 20 characters, what else can you do with these shorter links? Let's look at the apps and the features that they have behind them, and I think you'll get a better idea. Bitly is a site that I use all the time. I've used it for years. It's my favorite, but it's real straightforward. I mean, you go to bit.ly, you get this screen. You paste in your URL, you click shorten, you got your short link. You can use that short link on a business card, in an email signature, in social media posts, in print ads, in commercials, in brochures, in blog posts, on your website. You can even just tell people what the short link is. Doesn't cost anything. You don't have to sign up for an account. You can start using it right now. Bitly's a website. You can also download the Bitly app for your device and do the same thing. If you sign up for a free account, it will save your links for you. So if you have to go back and find one, it'll keep track of it for you. And I've got lots of older content, and it's shortened by Bitly link, but I won't remember it, so I'll go back and just search the archive and pull up that link. You can customize the keyword on Bitly links. So it could be bit.ly/random set of letters and numbers, which is what it usually gives you, or it can be bit.ly/pram conference, or bit.ly/social media tools. That's really easy to remember, so even if I don't give it to you on screen, you can jot it down quickly, you can go to it immediately on your phone. It makes it a lot easier to remember it. And it's also brand extension, because you can put pram in there. You can put your own company name in there. But beyond that, you can customize the domain name as well. In social media, I see a lot of links to content. So I'll see short links that are branded. They're not Bitly branded. They're branded by Amazon, or the New York Times, or the Huffington Post, or YouTube. And before I can click on it, I know I'm going to land on an Amazon product page, or a YouTube video, or a New York Times article, or a Huffington Post article. I bought a short URL, it's itsway, itswa.de, and everything I create, whether it's on my sites, whether it's on social media, whether it's a YouTube video, I send it through Bitly, and you get itsway/random set of letters and numbers. I can also customize the keyword at the end of it. So it could be itsway brand social tools, and it would take you right to the slides, or to video, or some other resource. That is powerful branding. I spent $8 for my domain renewal this year. I spent $0 on Bitly. You cannot miss out on something this easy. You go and buy the shortest domain name that makes sense. You spend about 10 minutes connecting it to your Bitly account, and you're ready to go. You can shorten all the links you want to. It'll save them all for you, and they'll all be branded with your company name or your product name or whatever name you want to put on it. There's a paid level, more bells and whistles, but I've used Bitly for free, and it's provided me with a wealth of information and marketing and branding. Every time you create a Bitly link, it tracks statistics for you. You don't have to do anything extra. You don't even have to sign up for an account. If you create a Bitly link and you want to see the statistics behind it, all you do is just add a plus sign to the end of the URL. For example, bit.ly/1UENXX6, you add the plus sign and you get those statistics. Number of clicks, clicks by day, channel it was shared on, geographic distribution, so what countries, who clicked on it and where. Demographic data, behavioral data, behind that one link. So if you see a shortened New York Times link, you can add a plus sign and see how much it was shared and how many people clicked on it. For each link that you share on your account, you can track what topics did the best, which topics did the worst, what times of day worked the best, which times of day worked the worst. Where are people clicking from? There's ultimate transparency built into Bitly links. Any link you create, you can see the statistics. So can everyone in this room. So can your competitors. Any Bitly links that your competitor creates, they can see the statistics, and so can you. But I think the positives outweigh the negatives. Being able to get all of this data for free just by using that link shortener is powerful and can guide you in how you create content, how you react to audiences, when you put out content, and so on. But that's fairly easy to remember. If you're a HootSuite user, you're probably familiar with Owly. You go to owl.ly and you pull up this screen, same as before. Paste in the URL, click the button, get a short link. You don't have to have a HootSuite account. You can start using this right now. If you do have a HootSuite account, then you can see the statistics behind the Owly links that you created. But this tool is available even if you don't have HootSuite. You can't customize the keyword at the end of it, but you can keep track of the statistics and you can shorten whatever URL you want to. Google has their hand in everything, so of course they have to have a link shortener as well. Go to Google, goo.gl, and again, you get the same screen, paste in the URL, hit the button, get a short link. It's free. You don't have to be logged into your Google account or your Gmail account. You can start using it immediately. Google has 2 bonus features with its short links. How many of you use QR codes? How many of you know what QR codes are? They're just fancy barcodes. You scan them with your phone, you scan them with your tablet, and usually it'll just take you to a URL, a website, a landing page. Sometimes it'll take you to an email address, sometimes it'll load a picture, but typically we use QR codes to take people to specific websites. And that means they don't have to type it into their phone, they can just scan it and it'll take them right there. Every Google link you create, you can also create a QR code. All you do is add .qr to the end of the URL, and it will generate that code on screen. For example, Google/CNIQ39.QR gives you that QR code. You can scan it right now. I think it'll take you to a news article. But when you pull up that QR code on screen, you can download it. You can use it in your printed material. You can use it on your postcards, your business cards, your TV commercials, wherever people may have a chance to scan it. As you create short links and QR codes, you might create different short links for different landing pages, for different phases of campaign, for A/B split testing, for different social media channels, for different target audiences. You're really only limited by your imagination. But this gives you one extra step, which is if you want QR codes to go with it, if you don't want them to have to type in the URL, there you go. Google Links also have statistics built into them, just like Bitly. Only difference is you take a short link, you add .info, you get those statistics. Clicks over time, referring platform, browser, country, and so on. So here you see Google/VNFJUW.info, that's the screen you get. You can even see in the upper right, it even generates QR code. It's the same QR code as in the previous screen, so if you need both the statistics and the QR code, you can get them all in one screen. Again, lots of free data right there. So if you create a lot of Google links, you can see how your content is doing relative to each other. And you can see if your competitors or your associates, they share Google links. You can see the statistics behind them as well. So ultimate transparency behind Google short links, just like Bitly. So with short links, you've got Bitly, you've got Owly for HootSuite, you've got Google. There are lots of link shorteners out there. Whether you try these or try another one, just see if it works for what you need to do and then keep using it. And if you need to explore the paid level, you can explore it for a short period of time to see if it meets what you're trying to do.
Can you customize
The Google links?
Yeah.
As far as I know, you cannot customize the keyword in Google Links. I would at least look it up. Don't take my word for it. I would at least look it up, but I don't think you can. It's funny though, there are other link shorteners where you can customize it. So you might, I think is.gd is good. I think that one lets you customize it. So, you know, some link shorteners do and some don't, and it just depends on how important it is that it be a memorable URL. Any other questions at this point? So we looked at scheduling apps, we looked at link shorteners, now we're going to look at metrics. Numbers, I could chew your ear off about the importance of numbers in social media. I used to work in journalism, specifically print journalism. I worked at newspapers and magazines, and I even worked at some websites, did writing and editing. At one magazine I worked at, I also was in charge of projects. And one day they handed me the reader's survey, which once a year, was a big deal, and it was a perfect fit for me because I had handled reader's surveys at previous organizations, so I loved doing them. They were a piece of cake to me. And they've been doing it like 10 or 11 years, so I'm trying to wrap my arms around it to understand where they are in the process. So I want to know all these things about the survey. I want to know who fills it out, where do they live, you know, what are the demographics, age, race, gender, household income, education level. I want to know who was not filling out the survey. And what was their motivation if they did fill it out? Was it the grand prize, which was a vacation somewhere? Was it they wanted to share their knowledge? Was it that they just needed a time killer? I mean, like this was like filling out the crossword and they just needed to kill 15 minutes on the lunch break. I wanted to know what motivated them. And so they answered questions in different travel categories. So like best hotel, best beach resort, best mountain resort, best barbecue restaurant, and so on. So I also wanted to know, besides the winner and the two runners-up, who won in each state? And were people in Alabama telling us something different from people in Mississippi versus Tennessee or Arkansas or some other state? And I was shocked. In 10 years, no one had asked any of those questions. It was a big blank. The first thing I did was I built a database, so from that point forward, we collect all that information. Because we're missing out on a big opportunity. By understanding why they fill out the ballots and understanding why they look at our magazine, we were missing the opportunity to sell more copies of the magazine at the newsstand, sell more subscriptions, sell more books, and sell more advertising. By not understanding all that information they were throwing at us, we were not serving their needs as editors and writers, because we weren't tracking what was most popular by state or region or city. We didn't know what to explore next, because if a restaurant moved from 15th place to 9th place and was likely going to head to the top 3 at some point, that meant we needed to go and check out this restaurant and do a story on it. And if a restaurant was sliding down, we needed to pull back our resources on that. So it's a huge missed opportunity of all this free data that's coming to us, because we're spending a lot of time and effort and money on advertising this on the reader survey and running it online and running it in the magazine and doing all the data collection, and then just doing nothing with it other than running a nice 5-page spread in the magazine of the winners and sending someone on a nice vacation. There's this big pile of money that's on the ground, and it wasn't that we couldn't be bothered to reach down and scoop up the money. I couldn't convince anyone in the office to look down at the ground to see that there's money at their feet. If you are not looking at your metrics, you are possibly kicking away all that money at your feet. So there is value in that data, but you have to look at it. First year I started running that survey, we jumped year to year in entries from 33,000 to something like 44,000, like a 30% jump, which is just unheard of. It was because we were paying attention to what motivated people to fill out the survey and what ways to reach them and nudge them along so that we get the most data possible. You can do that with your social media, but you've got to start looking at the metrics behind it. First 2 apps have the metrics built in. Facebook pages have insights. If you're logged into Facebook and you're on the page and you click the Insights tab at the top, it takes you right to this screen. Or if you go to facebook.com/name of your page/insights, it takes you to this screen. Number of likes, number of new likes, your reach, actions on page. So did someone click on something? Did someone like something? Did someone share something? Did someone comment on an item? How did your post do this week? Were they video posts? Were they photo posts? Were they text updates? Were they links? Facebook gives you all this information if you're the manager of the page or you're high enough admin on the page. You can pull it up at any point. You can pull it up through an app on your phone. And this is the starting point. Now remember that Facebook is rigged. It throttles back page engagement, so your entire audience doesn't see everything you share. But even though it's rigged, they still want you to succeed at this. So they have a help section and tutorials to help you understand insights. What do the numbers mean? How do you keep track of them? What are the best practices to increase engagement on your page? Because if everyone in this room who manages a Facebook page studies those materials this week, and then by next month increases traffic on their page by 25%, Facebook wins. Because the more eyeballs they get, the more advertising they sell, the more money they make. But you also get something out of it because you are now making better use of your Facebook page in terms of updates, engagement, audience reach, and so on. If you buy boosted posts, if you buy advertising on Facebook, then you get a lot more data because you have to track your campaigns as well. So this is the data that's associated with your page. If you boost posts or buy advertising, you also get more analytics based on those campaigns. The real question is, as you start to look at the numbers, is what I'm doing making a difference? What's working so we can keep doing that? And what's not working so we can either stop doing it or we can adjust it? And then your ultimate question is, are we actually reaching our audience through Facebook, or is that wasted effort and it belongs somewhere else, whether another social media channel or some other outreach? Twitter is similar in that regard. Analytics behind every Twitter account. If you go to your user icon in the upper right, click Analytics on the drop-down menu, it'll take you to this page. If you go to analytics.twitter.com/user/name of your Twitter account, it'll also take you to this page. Some of you may not have realized that Twitter has analytics behind each account. I think they only opened this up within the last year or so. I think previous to this, only like the high rollers got it, which meant if you're spending 10,000 or more a month in advertising with Twitter, then you had access to this. But now everyone has access to it, whether you've advertised on Twitter or not. Similar to Facebook, you know, number of tweets, number of followers, who's your best follower, what tweet had the best reach, and what's the engagement, and so on. Your starting point to understand and track these numbers. Twitter also has a help section, tutorials, so that you can understand the numbers, how to use them, and best practices. Because again, your ultimate question is what I'm doing here making a difference, or no matter what we do, no matter how much money we throw at it, our audience isn't responding, and it's time to pick something else. Lots of social media channels have some analytics built into it. Facebook and Twitter have a lot built into it, but you don't have to go to a third-party app. You can go dig right into that social media channel and get to the numbers. We've talked a little bit about Bitly, and we know that each link has statistics associated with it by adding the plus sign to it. If you have a Bitly account, remember you can get one for free. You can also go to the paid level, but you can track your content over time. You can see how many people clicked on it on any given day in the last month. You can see what referral channels brought them there, or what countries they're located in. Bitly.com/a/stats will take you there, or if you're logged in, you click on the left-hand side, click on Analytics, and it'll take you to the screen. Question?
On the Bitly account, and when you're tracking clicks and things like that,
Yeah.
if you, like some of us, manage multiple pages, multiple accounts and that type of thing, do you do like one Bitly account and then you can call up each individual one, or do you have to have an individual Bitly account for each platform you manage?
So if you manage multiple social media accounts and websites, how many Bitly accounts should you have to track all of it? I manage multiple accounts and multiple sites for myself, so I just keep it through one account. If I were tracking it for a client, I'd create a separate account for that client.
So like HootSuite or Buffer, you can set it up for Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, what have you.
So you're asking if it breaks it out by Facebook, Twitter, by social
Yeah,
media
does
channels?
it break it out that way?
It does not. Only by a limited overview graph. What you're seeing is big picture numbers. In other words, content statistics regardless of where you share it. Because if you shared your Bitly link in a mass email, it's not going to distinguish that from if you shared it in a Facebook page, or in your email signature, or on a brochure. So this is best for if you're tracking a lot of content over time. Because I want to know what topics are working for me. I want to know what timing is working for me. I want to know what's trending and what no one has clicked on, what no one has paid attention to. So this is one way to attack the problem, is when you save your links through Bitly, through your account, you track your content data over time. The next app takes it from a different approach. In HootSuite, at the free level, you have access to analytics reports. HootSuite.com/dashboard, /analytics, or just click on analytics in the left-hand menu, it'll take you to the screen. You can create reports around each channel that you have connected to HootSuite. For instance, here's a Facebook page report. Number of likes, number of new likes, page engagement, total reach each week, and so on. Similar to what you'd see in Facebook Insights. At the free level, you can generate 1 or 2 reports. At the paid level, you can generate lots of reports, you can use more sophisticated templates, you can do custom reports. Your team members can access those reports. You can download the reports. And once you download it, you can email it to your boss or to a colleague. So if they don't have a HootSuite account or access to it, they can still see the data. So there's a lot of reporting tools in HootSuite that make it shine above other social media apps. The other thing is you can track all those social media accounts in one dashboard. So instead of having to generate report after report after report in each social media channel, you can just do it from the screen. You can have it generate them automatically, like once a week or once a month, so that they're ready for you. You don't have to sit there and keep creating it every Wednesday afternoon or something. So Bitly allows you to track content regardless of channel. Now in Hootsuite, you're tracking performance on channel regardless of whatever content you share there. How's your Twitter doing over time? How's your Facebook doing over time? How's your LinkedIn doing over time? And so on. So Facebook and Twitter have native statistics. Bitly and Hootsuite are among the packages that have third-party access to these social media channels and your numbers. This is as good a starting point as any. If you're not looking at your numbers, or you have the numbers and you just haven't downloaded them or put them into a spreadsheet to track them, this is a good starting point as any. If you need something more sophisticated than that, just email me. I'll be happy to make recommendations. Companies I used to work for, they used Radian6, they used Omniture. They were tracking thousands of web pages and user accounts and social media and blog posts, and they needed granular, real-time data to track all the content so that we could jump on it with new editorial, new blog posts, and new promotions. And I mean, that's super enterprise level where it's like 200 simultaneous users tracking it across multiple offices and multiple channels. So if there's a tool that you need that is beyond the reach of these tools, just email me and I'll recommend something for you. Last category we're going to look at is mobile. As I pointed out, we all have devices and we need to be able to manage these social media channels on the go. So, you know, there are millions of apps out there. I'm just going to recommend a handful that I found useful. But if I don't get to your channel or the thing you're working on, feel free to ask me now or ask me, you know, after the presentation or by email, because everybody in here's got different goal, different agenda, different needs for their social media. First one is Repost for Instagram. Instagram lets you take photos, take video, share those photos, share those videos, interact with other people's photos, and share anyone's photos on like Facebook or Twitter or some outgoing social media channel. What you can't do in Instagram, the app, is share other people's photos. In Twitter, you can retweet anyone's tweet. In Facebook, you can share any photo or update or event or page or promotion as you like. But Instagram does not allow you to share photos. There are lots of apps like Repost that basically work with your Instagram account so that you can repost other photos. I run an Instagram account for Y'all Connect, the digital marketing conference that I do. And we have photos from our event that show what it's like to be there and our speakers and our attendees. But the secondary goal is to show off Birmingham. Birmingham's my hometown. It's where we have the conference every year. And it's a beautiful, thriving city, and so I want to show it off to everyone. And I'm not a photographer. I'm a lousy photographer. But there are thousands of great photos from people in Birmingham on Instagram. So I go into Repost, I find an appropriate photo, I click Repost, it takes me back to Instagram, I paste in the caption, I hit publish, I'm done. It's a free app. If you pay a couple of bucks, it'll strip off the banner that has the original Instagram user on it. But I prefer to have it on there because we want to give credit to the photographer, not just in the caption, but in the photo as well. But if you manage an Instagram account and you want to build deeper connections to your community, this is a way to do it because we're able to show off our fans, we're able to show off our city, we're able to engage in a different way than just showing off our conference, our event. It's not just all about us, it's about the city that we're in as well. Yeah?
Now, is this in regards to just public pages, or can you go to anybody's personal page and take their Instagram photos and repost it?
So if an Instagram user is private versus public, what kind of access do you have to photos?
Yes, that's what,
As far as I know, you can only access public photos.
okay,
But I haven't tested it, so I'm not 100% sure. That's a good question.
okay,
Ideally, if your account is private, only your followers can see it.
right, okay.
But does that mean that they can access your photos because you're connected? See, that's a different angle on it.
I think I've done that before, where like, since I was following the person, even though they had a private account, since they allowed us access, we could repost their picture. But of course, I always kind of make sure that that's okay before I do it, since they do have a private account.
Great. So she checks with the Instagram user before reposting their photo, which is great whenever you're using photos that don't belong to you. I'm taking the more daring approach, which is I'm hoping that it's okay, and if it's not okay, we will immediately take down the photo. I have no problem with that. I don't want to steal someone's photo. I want to make sure they get credit. I want to make sure they get more followers and get all the credit they deserve for shooting that photo. To date, it hasn't been an issue, but I can certainly understand if people want to protect their photos. I'm a big Twitter user, but I'm not keen on Twitter's native app for the iPhone. I use Tweetbot, which I discovered a few years ago. It's at tapbots.com/tweetbot. Costs like $3 or $4. And every couple of years they upgrade it and they charge that $4 again, and I gladly pay it. Best Twitter app out there. Beautiful interface, some statistics built in, good display of third-party media like YouTube videos, Vine videos, Instagram photos, GIFs. Handles multiple accounts, easy to thread through conversations, easy to reply, easy to handle direct messages, easy to do built-in searches. It's only available for iOS. So if you have an iPhone or iPad, I encourage you to try Tweetbot because I think it's just a terrific Twitter app. And if you handle one or more Twitter accounts for your company or your brand, I encourage you to try it out. Now, because I don't know my way around Android, I asked for suggestions on potential Android apps. One friend suggested Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X. Go to mvilla.it/Phoenix. You can download it for free from the Google Play Store. He loves it. He loves the features. He loves the design. He swears by it. Another friend recommended the original Twitter app for Android. Twitter.com/download is where you'll find the link to download it for your Android device. She is a big Twitter user. She uses the Twitter app every day for all of her mobile tweeting. She's really good at it. I trust her advice. But there are two suggestions for Android, and they're both free, so Twitter and Phoenix. Last app I want to recommend is LinkedIn. That might puzzle some of you because you might not even be sure what to do with LinkedIn to begin with. Because you might have just set up an account and published your profile and then haven't logged in, even though you get bombarded with like 30 email notifications of people wanting to connect with you on LinkedIn. I think this is a good way to get into LinkedIn. You go to mobile.linkedin.com and you can find the app for your iOS or Android device. But if you want to build your networking, if you want to do lead prospecting, if you want to share updates that relate to your professional life, your company, your brand, your product launches, your services, and so on, this is the place to do it. Everybody's got little gaps in their day, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, where you can check in, respond to messages, share updates, grow your network. You're at a conference where you're going to meet a lot of smart, interesting people, and you're going to want to keep in touch with them. You might trade business cards, you might trade an email, you should invite them to join your LinkedIn network. And then after they join your network, keep up with them. Make sure that you do your network maintenance and that you reach out to people from time to time, ask how they're doing, what they're up to, and how you can help. The app doesn't do everything. They've limited it, they've changed it a lot over the years, but for what you need it to do, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't cost you anything. You just download it, you sign in with your profile, and you're good to go at any time. But when you go to coffee meetings, when you go to sales meetings, when you go to networking events, those are opportunities to grow your network, to meet people that will matter, and to stay in touch with them in a convenient way. So you've got Tweetbot, you've got Phoenix, you've got the Twitter app, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Repost for Instagram. Again, just we're barely scratching the surface in terms of apps because there's so many out there. But there are, chances are, if there are other social media channels that you use and need to manage on the go, and you need some help with that, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me, wade@wadekwon.com. You can also find me on my site, birminghamblogging.com, and you can tweet me your questions at Wade on Tweets. All my contact information is on that postcard, so if you reach out to me through that information, take the postcard with you, and if you have questions, just reach out to me. I'm happy to take questions whenever they come up, because you're going to find new challenges as social media evolves, as your audience grows, as your needs change, and I'm happy to tackle any question you throw my way. We looked at tools for scheduling, we looked at tools for shortening links, we looked at tools for measuring metrics, and we looked at tools that you can use on your devices. Don't forget that you always have the two most important tools, your heart and your mind. Your heart guides you with empathy. It reminds you that there's a human being at the other end of that social media channel that you're trying to help, that you're trying to guide, that you're trying to solve their problem. So it allows you to respond with kindness and not just automatically. Your mind allows you to be creative, it helps you solve problems, it helps you think beyond just the tried and true, and make sure that you're actually making a difference for your audience out there. Best part about it is they're always working, they're always getting better, and the more you use them, the more likely you are to succeed in managing your social media, in furthering your business goals, and connecting with all those people out there in social media land. Thank you.